Hi, Drew. It's so lovely to see you.
Oh my gosh, Seth, I feel like I've known you for such a long time.
We're probably closing in on 2 decades. I wouldn't be surprised if it's been 20 years since we first met.
I think it has been around something like that. You got 20 Emmy Award nominations for SNL, is that correct?
Thank you for focusing on that and not the one win.
By the way, the Emmys are so hard. I would be with Amy Poehler and Kristen Wiig and me, and none of us would ever win. And we'd go back to my house and have a big party.
You know what? A true story. I think the most, and by the way, it's an honor to be nominated. Let me stress that. The most upset I ever was when SNL didn't win an Emmy. I was also at your house. And let me tell you, that was a wonderful consolation prize to get to party at Drew Mariore's house after a big loss.
That was one of my favorite nights of life. And Amy Poehler got me this beautiful decanter because she kept talking about how this was such a great antidote. And then she got me a bottle that said antidote on it, and it still sits on my desk. I just love it so much.
I'm gonna tell you from knowing Amy for years, if she ever gives you a gift, that's her way of saying, I stole something that night.
Good. Well, I didn't notice anything was missing. And that decanter with that engraved antidote is my personal treasure. If anyone ever stole that, I'd come after them. Now
Just don't have her back over.
No, I want all of you guys. I mean, you're a part of the legacy and institution. You know, I did SNL for the first time in '82. I think it was such a training ground for me. And you know, for 2 decades, I, worked with you as, the head writer. And we did a lot of sketches together also, which was fun. I remember us playing Posh and Bex in a Donatella sketch.
We both look great. Look how young and great we look.
I know. I haven't worn a dress like that probably since that night.
My wife makes me wear that white suit every night.
I'm so happy for you because when we knew each other back in the day 2 decades ago, we were both young and single and free and carefree. And, I have 2 kids. You have a beautiful family with your gorgeous wife and your 2 sons. And I was curious because, we launched this show and I had, my 2 children. I was trying to homeschool and launch the show. And it was such a ridiculous juggling act, and I would see you come out in, is it your in-laws' attic?
Yeah, I was in my attic and then my in-laws' house. We moved over the course of the summer.
What was it like to do that show with your 2 kids?
Well, first of all, I want to give you a round of applause for launching a show during a pandemic. It was hard enough to do a show, but at least we had some understanding about what our show was and how to go about it. So I'm just amazed that you and your entire crew over there pulled it off. It is just such an accomplishment. It was a trip, I think my kids in their head thinks it's pretty cool that their dad has a TV show, but then when I started saying I'm gonna go up to the attic to do my TV show, I think they thought I was making it up. But they were great. I mean, they had a real understanding of it. And the one upside was, to this awful year is I did see my kids more than if I was doing it from the studio. So they appreciated it, and all in all, they were pretty good kids about it.
Well, thank goodness for that. And I just want to ask you a question as I hold up the Drew's News mug. Why do we crave satirical news, good news, funny news? What is so powerful about the news in the context of this sort of information yet pithy delivery?
The only thing I would say about the way we approach it is that news more often than not, unfortunately, is not good, and we try to run through the news of the day with as many jokes as possible so that the watching of it might provide a little catharsis. It certainly is cathartic for us to write about it that way, and the fact that there might be an audience that wants to consume what we're putting together is incredibly flattering to us.